Hi, everyone. This is Terry Bruce from Strong Women, Strange Worlds, and we're getting ready for our online book fair. We'll be starting in just a few minutes, but we're just getting the live stream up and running. So if you are out there watching this and can see this and hear my voice, indicate that in the comments, please, so that we know that the live stream is now live. I'm meanwhile checking on my phone to see if I can see us. Hi, everyone. This is Terry Bruce from Strong Women, Strange Worlds, and we're getting ready for our online book fair. We'll be starting in just a few minutes, but we're just getting the live stream up and running. So if you are out there, okay, whoops, I was getting some feedback there. Okay, so it sounds like we are live, up and live, which is good. Let's see if I can find the video on our... Oh, there we are. That's very exciting. All right, so who's out there? Who is watching us today? Hopefully, we'll wait just a few more minutes. We'll start right at 1 p.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, I'm just checking. You should be able to comment on this video, and it looks like you can't, which is going to be very upsetting. How do I enable comments? Hang on one second, everybody. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to comment on this, because otherwise that's going to put a crimp in our plans. Okay, so interestingly enough, you can comment if you were watching this on desktop, but I'm not seeing an option on mobile in the browser. So if you're just using your browser, like Safari in an iPhone and going to this live stream, I'm not seeing a place where you can comment. But if you are on desktop computer, and quite possibly if you're in the YouTube app on a phone, you may be able to chat with the authors. So if you're watching this on your phone in a browser and want to be able to interact with the authors or be able to buy the items that they have for sale, you're going to have to email the authors directly, or you're going to need to switch to a desktop computer in your browser like Firefox or Chrome. Or Internet Explorer, they call it Edge now. Now I'm dating myself. Edge, you will be able to comment. There's a comment box on the right-hand side of the screen where you'll be able to interact with the authors, post questions, and indicate that you want to buy their items. And possibly inside the YouTube app on phone. I do not have the YouTube app, so I cannot speak to that. But you may be able to in the app, but it doesn't look like if you just go to YouTube in a browser, at least on Safari for iPhone, doesn't look like it gives you the option for the chat box, which is weird. All right, so we're just about ready to get started. Wait just another minute. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for YouTube to notify people who have said notify me when they go live. So it takes a few minutes for, there's usually a few seconds delay with the live stream and then a few more seconds for people to be notified. So usually you'll see people when they start a live stream just kind of sitting here making up words while they wait for all the technology to get in sync and everything to start working together. Now we do have a couple comments posted, so a few people have started watching and are here. So welcome and thank you. All right, so I'm going to give it just one more minute for this to get started. and then we'll get started. Any of you who are new to Strong Women, Strange Worlds, thank you for coming today and welcome. Now on YouTube, there is a closed captioning box under the live stream, at least on desktop. So you do have the option to turn on closed captioning if that will help at all. It is automatic closed captioning that YouTube is doing phonetically based on what I'm saying. So it's not a prepared transcript. So there may be some weirdness, but if you need the closed captioning option, it is available. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so officially, welcome everybody. This is our second ever online book fair, and I am Terry Bruce. I'm one of the co-founders of Strong Women, Strange Worlds. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a collaborative group of women and non-binary authors working to promote the work of women and non-binary authors of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. We provide twice monthly quick read events, which are held the first Friday and third Thursday of every month. Those readings feature 6 women and non-binary authors of science fiction, fantasy, and horror reading from their work. Those are generally an hour long. We have 6 authors, each read for 8 minutes. They're a lot of fun. They are live readings. They're not pre-recorded. And you can find all the details of those events and more about us at strongwomenstrangeworlds.weebly.com. And I will put that link in the chat box in the YouTube stream. Our next reading is actually this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is free, but pre-registration is required. You can find the details of that event and the link to register on our website that I had just mentioned. That's strongwomenstrangeworlds.weebly.com. Now, I am an author myself. I will be the host or MC today. I'm not vending per se, but you can find out more about me and what I write at my website, which is here in my Zoom box under my name. It's just terrybruce.net. That is 2 R's and an I. I do write science fiction, fantasy, and a little smattering of horror. I do have a contemporary fantasy series that is out, 3 books, and I just have to brag a little. The 4th book is coming out now. It is being released first as serialized fiction, and then the book will be released next year. So that's called When After, and I do love my cover art, so I just show this off whenever I can. If you're interested in that or learning more about my work, you can do that at terrybruce.net. I do have a couple of free offers. If you sign up for my mailing list, I will send you the first book in my Afterlife series called Hereafter for free. The ebook. The paperback, for some insane reason, is on sale at Amazon for $5. I can't make them stop. So my loss is your gain. If you want a paperback for $5, head over to Amazon and grab that. And for anybody who signs up for my mailing list, I also have a free short story collection featuring 10 dark fiction tales from women authors, of which I am one, and that's called Voyages. So you can find out all about that at my website, terrybruce.net. So how today is going to work. I've got 2 authors for you today. We're really excited. That'll be Ann Neidham and Joan Marie Verba. They each are going to have the spotlight or the stage for about 20 minutes. There'll be a little countdown timer to tell you how long they have left. They're going to each introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about what they write, kind of what their vibe is, what kind of stories they create. And then they're going to just tell you a little bit about their writing process, their work, show off their wares, and they're going to have some special offers for you today. They'll give you instructions on how to access those special offers. It might be signing up for a mailing list. It might be emailing them. It might just be saying, hey, I want that. Private message me to get my money. And they'll arrange a private sale with you through email or through Messenger. All right, so as we go through, you can post comments to the authors, interact with them. As soon as each author is done speaking, they will pop over to the YouTube channel and look at the comments and answer any questions and interact with the audience. So this is live. We are not pre-recorded and we are here. So interact with us, send us your questions, send us your comments, and I hope you have a great time. Our first author is going to be Ann Neidham. Ann.
Hello, everyone. There I am. All right. So I am Anne E.G. Needham. I am both an artist and an author, so I'll be sharing a little bit about both of those things. I've written and illustrated a number of books in a fairly wide array of categories, but what they all have in common is just an impulse to look for the best in others and in the world, and to foster a curiosity to find those sometimes hard to find joys in life. This is true in all my books from preschool through adult, a few nonfiction, mostly fiction. So I'm going to show you a bunch of art and books in the next little while that I have. Let me start by directing you to my website, which is needhamprints.com. It's also in my little name tag down below when I put this piece of paper down. If you're on a computer screen, it will look like this. And you can find a contact me button down. Oops, let me hold it higher. Yep, contact me button right there down at the bottom right. If you're on a phone, I can't help you. I'm sure everything's there, but you probably have to scroll all over the place to find anything. But the contact me button is not only on the homepage, but also on most of the other pages that have details about art and books. So if you click on it anywhere, you'll get sent to my email. And I'm happy to hear from you with questions, comments, purchases, etc. Also, as Terry said, I'm going to hop onto the YouTube comments as soon as I finish my turn talking at you, so I can also answer questions then. I will also point out that on my webpage here, on my website, there is a page where you can see all my available original art, and another page for all my books, which is right there. And so, oops. Dropped my little visual aid. All righty. So here are all my books, and you can see that there are a fair number of them. So I'm going to give you the tour. And again, I can always answer questions at any time. I am going to start with this book, Hey Diddle Diddle and Other Rhymes, which is the only one of my books that is not available on Amazon. So it's a collection of classic nursery rhymes. And the thing I love about nursery rhymes is that they're just these tiny little vignettes that when you start to think about it, they suggest these very strange stories, magical, charming. So I've illustrated this book with my original block prints. But also each rhyme has a little sort of parenthetical comment that's like inviting you to think about sort of what else is going on, more about the story. Imagine, sort of what else might be going on in this sort of strange scenario. I will also point out, since we're talking about art also, that the original works, which are block prints. So I carve a block, roll it with ink, press it on the paper by hand. So they're limited editions. And some of the original artwork for some of those illustrations is in fact still available. So again, if you go to my website and you go to that section where it's got art on it, you can have a look. So if you want to buy anything from me, what you need to do is send me an email via that contact button, and then I can send a square invoice for items, which then can be paid just like any online purchase. Be sure to mention in that email that you saw me on Strong Women, Strange Worlds, because for this event only, I will offer free shipping on books, US only. International fans, I do love you, but I can't afford that shipping. I am happy to sign and inscribe all books to whomever you wish. And I will throw in a few fun little extras, some of which I'll talk about a little bit more later, but I have a variety of postcards and page mark. I also have, I have these sort of fun little mini magnets, and I will add one of those to every order. All right, so that gets you started a little bit with some of the logistics. Moving into fantasy territory, which, you know, since it's Strong Women, Strange Worlds, that's, well, maybe right before we get to the fantasy, I will just quickly mention I do have this nonfiction book, which is an alphabet of animals, real animals, again, illustrated, with some sort of fun facts and again, questions, because part of what I'm trying to do with this book is encourage kids to think about what they're seeing, to ask questions about the natural world and you know, why are creatures the way they are, and implications for living with them and that kind of thing. And then I also have this little book, which is, I think of it as a book of hours. It's inspired by medieval books of hours, and it is fully illuminated. And basically it's a book of poetry, little snippets of poetry and like psalms, and that is sort of the celebrating the sacred in the mostly in the natural world, but sort of in the rhythms of the day. So you can check that out too. Let's get to that fantasy. That's the fun stuff. All right. So this is the Kate and Sam trilogy. It was originally written as a read aloud for my own kids, starting when they were about 5 years old, which is like old enough to listen to chapter books, more than just totally simple sentences and words of one syllable. They, and honestly, I, as the reader, were ready for a bit more complex plot, but they're still young enough that they didn't want anything super stressful and scary, especially for a bedtime book. So it didn't work just to read books for older kids, because as the vocabulary ramps up, so does the, you know, intensity. So my children told me what they wanted in the book, which included things like there needs to be fairies, there needs to be a dragon, there needs to be a tiger. They both agreed there needed to be kids who could talk to animals. So all of those things went into these books. They gave me detailed sort of running feedback as I wrote. They also ended up helping to illustrate them. So I have done many of the illustrations, but some of the illustrations are done by my kids too, which is kind of a fun touch, I think, for kids reading them, to see that that their artwork is also valuable. So the series begins with Kate and Sam to the rescue when our heroes' parents are unexpectedly carried off by a dragon. While the parents try to get home, Kate and Sam and their nervous cat nasturtium set off to help rescue them. Book 2 is Kate and Sam and the Chipmunks of Doom. And book 3 is Kate and Sam and the Cheese Monster, which was written by special request of the 4th grade students at elementary school, and it is dedicated to them. So I have to give them their credit. The books are $10 each plus tax, and you can order them on Amazon. But if you order the complete trilogy from me, I can offer you a special deal of $26 for the set. It's not a huge discount, but it is something. As we get up to middle grade kids, which is generally defined as upper elementary into middle school, I present first The Bad Advice of Grandma Hasenfuss. I think of the genre of this as being tall tale. So it's not really fantasy in the sense that there's no magic in this world, but at the same time, it is not realism either, as things do tend to stretch credulity a wee bit. It's also an epistolary tale told in a series of emails written between 7th grader Danny Hasenfuss, who has a bit of a bully problem, and his rather eccentric grandma, who has a hobby of extreme adventure crochet. It's a very quick read. It's a lot of ridiculous fun, some serious underlying messages to think about, and the legitimate use of the word phylloxynonihilipilification, which is a word everybody should know. So again, I will send with this book postcards, one of which is the special phylloxynonihilipilification postcard, plus the bookmarks, one of the mini magnets. Now, for reasons I do not know, Terry alluded to this, Amazon has decided to put a few of my books on sale at a deep discount right now. And one of them is The Extraordinary Book of Doors. I can't compete with their sale price. So I have to tell you to go buy from Amazon for a great deal. But if you still want all these little bonuses I'm offering for the books that are on sale, or any books that you are buying from Amazon, just again, use the contact button on my webpage, send me an email, include like proof of purchase from Amazon. So like picture of yourself with the book, or picture of your order confirmation, or whatever it is. And then I can send you, the bookmarks, the postcards, a magnet. I can also send a signed and inscribed book plate with whatever inscription you want on it, so that you can then stick it in a book that you didn't get directly from me. This, as I said, goes for all my books. Just be sure to let me know that you saw me on Strong Women, Strange Worlds. Okay, so The Extraordinary Book of Doors is a middle grade fantasy adventure featuring a few lonely kids, especially Chen and Polly, featuring also a few Renaissance books of architecture, which just happen to be magical portals. So you can see some of these magical portal doors in the book. Every time the kids go through one of these doors, it appears in the book. There's also a treasure hunt with the clues written into one of the books by Benjamin Franklin. There are chases, escapes, clues, puzzles, flamboyant sartorial choices. It's about building friendships, about finding out what's kind of really important. So one of the postcards that I'm sending is one with some of those door designs on the postcard. I also have packets of note cards with door designs. So they each have in them 8 different cards, each with a different door design, plus envelopes. Those are $10 plus tax. If you order those now, and again, let me know through email, I will throw in a 9th card in each pack with the design of the magical keys that make the doors open. I cannot guarantee your results in attempting to portal travel. But by the way, be sure to poke around on my website. I have other note card designs. I have some other fun stuff on there. All right, moving on. On the Virtues of Beasts of the Realms of Imagination. It's a medieval-inspired bestiary of mythical creatures, again, illustrated with my block prints, and sharing what I like to think of as moral musings for the 21st century. So it is a picture book, but I wrote it for adults, or at least people like me. The text is deliberately old-fashioned and lyrical, so it's probably a tough reading level for younger kids. But the feedback I've gotten is that kids do really enjoy looking at the pictures, and that it can be read aloud to elementary kids. So this really is a fun book for all ages. It's good for a coffee table book, or for dipping into a little bit at a time, maybe one creature before bed each evening. It's another one that Amazon currently has for more than 50% off right now. So this is your chance to stock up and buy copies for all your friends. Seriously, it does make a fun gift. So again, email me, let me know you bought it, and I will send the various goodies. I also have an extra bonus for this, which is I can send a PDF, which you can then print out, which is like an extra page for the book that includes another little set of creatures. Also, I can send, so some of the magnets are creatures that appear in the book. And there are 8 different designs, but for the first book, I will send, I'll pick 4 to send and 2 more for each additional copy of the book that you buy. So that's another little bonus deal. I would also like to point out that, again, the original block printed artwork is still available for a number of the beasts in the book. Again, these are limited edition pieces of artwork. So, so I'll give a special shout out to the unicorn and the griffin, both of which happen to be the last one remaining in their edition. So when they're gone, they're gone. So if you are interested in giving any of these fabulous creatures a forever home, be sure to let me know. And then finally, let me talk about the Otherworld series. 6 books. The series is now complete for your binge reading pleasure, as Elaine Isaac says. This is high fantasy. Imagine a sort of Tolkien-esque world that you think you know. Elves, dwarves, humans, a little magic, a few dragons, kind of medieval Europe-ish, right? But now think about living in that world and dealing with its conflicts without sort of the traditional stereotypical swords and sorcery. So the character who threads through the entire series, she is the main protagonist in 4 of the 6 books, and then in 2 of them in the middle, she's sort of the sidekick as new characters get introduced, but she threads through the whole book. She's a bard, which in this world basically means a historian. So she sees her job as collecting stories about people, and then also sharing the right stories at the right time to help people understand each other and themselves, and you know, kind of reach some reach abilities to connect with each other because of that sharing of stories, which not coincidentally is, of course, a little bit the way probably a lot of authors, but certainly I think about my telling of stories. So the first book is a pretty classic coming of age quest. Honestly, the series gets better and better with each book, if I do say so myself, and explores over the course of the series some really interesting, meaty kind of issues. Things like, how does history affect the present? What is that, you know, faith versus fundamentalism, trust, power, love, all kinds of good stuff. So again, you can buy them on Amazon or directly from me if you let me know. But so any book in this series, I can send however many book plates, inscribed book plates, if you want to buy them by way of Amazon, page marks, postcards, magnet for each copy you buy. Plus, if you do buy the whole series from me, I can give you a 10% discount, making it $65 for all 6 books, because you know you're just, once you start them, you're going to want to read them all. I hope. I will also point out, if I can find my little visual aids again here. Okay, that there are all kinds of other links of possible interest on my website. So you can link to my blog, where I share regularly about all sorts of topics in my two areas, the speculative fiction and the relief printmaking. And again, that's a great place to hear what I'm thinking about, what I'm liking, engage with me. There's also a link to my Instagram, which has kind of less directly to do with the art and writing, although sometimes that comes up. But basically, I share one picture a day that gives me joy, that I hope just might cheer you too. So again, that's just a little place to go check out. And a lot of the nature that's just happens to be in my yard or that I see on my walks, but kinds of other cool stuff too. You can also let me know, again, by way of email or somewhere on the website, there's a link, if you want to be added to my infrequent newsletter mailing list, where I send out occasional updates about events, activities, opportunities, news from, again, both the author and artist arenas. Many of my events are local, of course, but there are also some, like today's, that are open to anyone all around the world, or possibly even the universe, if aliens have the right technology to get the signal. So I would love to answer any questions about, again, that sort of, because there's such a wide array of different things. I get excited about a lot of things. I get enthusiastic about a lot of things. I think of myself as kind of a generalist, as opposed to, focusing in on only one thing. And I actually believe that's a great way to get creative ideas, because they can kind of come from anywhere. So like with my artwork, people often ask me, how do you decide what to do art of? And the answer is basically anything that I look at it and say, oh, that's so cool. I might want to share it with someone else. So that's the downside, is that it's just this huge, diverse array, as opposed to a single focused thing that I could just give you like an in-depth talk or share about one particular book in depth. So all of that is to say that if one of these books or pieces of art or whatever is of particular interest to you, by all means, put the questions in the comments box, in the chat box, and I will get over there in just a minute and try to answer some of those. Also, always send me an email and let me know what's on your mind. So I am just about out of time now, so I will say farewell from the live stream and pop on over to that comments section and see if anybody's got anything for me over there. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Anne. That was great. There is actually, a comment for you about the price of your books on Amazon. So anybody watching, Anne will be around in the comments here for a little while. If you have any questions for her or trouble following up on any of her offers, you can snag her before she heads out. All right. Well, so those of you who have joined us midstream, this is the voice of Terry Bruce, one of the Strong Women Strange Worlds. I guess I call myself staff. We are all a group of unpaid volunteers, but I'll call myself staff. And welcome. So this is our online book fair for the month of September from Strong Women Strange Worlds, a group of women and non-binary authors of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And our second author is Joan Marie Verba. Am I saying that right, Joan Marie? Is it Verba or Verba? Oh, you're muted.
It's Verba.
It is Verba. Okay. So Joan Marie, take it away.
Hello, I'm Joan Marie Verba, and I'm a science fiction and fantasy author. And you can see some information in the background behind me. I will get away from that in a couple of minutes so that you can see it more clearly. But right now, I just want to introduce myself. Again, I'm a science fiction and fantasy author with a bunch of publications that I have done. There are two things that you probably should know about my writing. First of all, I'm autistic, and therefore there's, that cannot help but be reflected in my writing. So you might see something about that in my writing. And second of all, I do my best to have my protagonists follow moral principles, and that's important to me. I'm aware of the fact that there are a lot of authors nowadays who want to write stories where the protagonist has a great moral flaw and is not necessarily committed to moralistic virtues. My characters absolutely make mistakes, absolutely fail in a lot of places, but on the whole, they try to do the right thing. And so you will see that in my writing. Another thing that you will find in my writing is that I try to portray people from different backgrounds, different cultures, working together for a moral purpose. And I believe in that too. So I guess they call that type of genre hope punk. If you are into hope punk, you will probably enjoy my novels, because I prefer an optimistic view where people, they struggle, they make mistakes, they have setbacks, but in the end, they try to do the right thing and make the world a better place. So that's the kind of writing that I do. If you're trying to look for me, my main website, my personal website, is at joanmarieverba.com. All of my books are on that site. All of the sites that I'm going to present to you have an email address at the bottom. So if you have any questions or anything, just scroll to the bottom of my websites and you will find my email. I do answer emails very promptly, so feel free to ask questions and get in touch with me if I haven't answered a question in this presentation. So now I'll get out of the way and present my books here. You can find all of my books, not only on my website, but also you can find all of my books on FTL Publications. The ones that are on sale are on this particular page of FTL Publications, sales.html. Both 12 and Defying the Ghosts have their own websites. Defyingtheghosts.com is the website for Defying the Ghosts. And there is, again, a special page if you want to buy. It gives all the purchasing options. And 12 has its own website at 12fairytale.com. And again, you can find purchasing information. You can also find the first chapters posted. In fact, if you go to ftlpublications.com and look at those 3 books, 12 and Defying the Ghosts and Sword of Queens, you will find chapter 1 posted, so you can get a little sample there. 12 is my most recent novel. It was officially published just last month. It's available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. I have the paperback on sale. Amazon charges $15.95. I charge $12 if you buy it directly from me. Again, ftlpublications.com/saleshtml. You can find a buy button. And I do ship only to US addresses. As with Anne, I can't afford the postage to ship outside the United States, but do consider the ebook if you're outside the United States. But if you're within the United States, you can buy it for $10 and it's free shipping for US addresses. 12 is a retelling of the fairy tale, The 12 Dancing Princesses. I wanted to write this novel for quite some time, and I wrote it in 2021 and finished it in early 2022. And again, I just published it. Again, it's a retelling of The 12 Dancing Princesses. You should find the story very familiar and again, very people getting together to solve a dilemma and and has a traditional fairy tale ending. So if you're into fairy tales, 12 is something that you might want to consider. Defying the Ghosts is my 2020 publication. It's a young adult ghost story, and the main character is an 18-year-old who was thrown out of her house on her 18th birthday by her mother, and has to look around for a place to live. Here's about a haunted house that the owner will give away to anyone who's able to stay overnight. And many people have tried and failed to do that. She is determined to do that. And the story is about her adventures in trying to claim the house and trying to stay alive and well throughout the night so that she's alive in the morning and can claim the house. So that's her challenge, and there's a lot of it into it. What you see pictured there is the original cover. I have since, in early 2022, reissued the book, same text, with a different cover. You can go to ftlpublications.com. You will see both covers there. The one on sale is the original cover. If you want to buy the new cover, you'll have to pay full price. But if you want it on sale, you will get the original cover, which is pictured there. I'm selling it for $5. Again, free shipping for US addresses. There is a buy button on both the defyingtheghost.com site and the ftlpublications.com site, and you can buy it for $5 by just pressing the button and filling out the information. If I will sign the paperbacks with just my signature. If you want something more like personalization, feel free to either give a message in the sales button when you're purchasing the book, or again, just email me and let me know you want it personalized, and I can definitely do that. Also, again, if you're outside the United States and still want Defying the Ghosts, or in the US and want to buy the ebook, you can buy the ebook on the Defying the Ghosts site. It's $1 less than the ebook price for Amazon. So you can get it in either PDF, EPUB, or Mobi formats. And you can purchase the ebook right there. I will email it to you at whatever email address you provide. And the ebook versions of Defying the Ghosts have the current cover on them, if you want that. Sword of Queens is my 2012 fantasy novel. It's my high fantasy novel from a feminist perspective, in that it's a fantasy world, sort of. And what has happened there is that there's an evil overlord who took over 500 years ago. And the evil overlord knows of a prophecy that a woman bearing a sword, a special magical sword called the Sword of Queens, will defeat him at some point. So he lays down rules that any woman who takes up a sword will die. And the sword is hidden. Nobody knows where it is. And the protagonist has to deal with those challenges in order to defeat the evil overlord, and finds help along the way. So Sword of Queens is my 2012 novel. You will see an author correction there because one of the descriptions was problematic, so I changed it a little bit. So there'll be an author correction. It's one word on one page. Otherwise, it's the complete text. And again, this is the original cover. I have since reissued it with a new cover. If you want the new cover, you can buy it on Amazon and pay full price. If you're fine with having the old cover and the author correction, The author correction is built into the new cover version. And the author correction, then you can pay $5. And again, it's free shipping for US addresses for Sword of Queens. So that's Sword of Queens. I also am giving away short stories for people who wish to join my email list. My email newsletter comes out every other Wednesday. It has what I'm doing right now. It has, book bargains from me and from other people that I know are offering book bargains. And also, since it's still summer, I'm also having pictures from my landscaping, mostly flowers, but other landscaping too. I don't know what I'm going to do in the winter for pictures, but I may have pictures of snow or my snow blower or whatever. I live in Minnesota, so snow is inevitable around here. So you might see pictures of that, but it comes out every 2 weeks. It's not a long newsletter. It's very short. And I think you will enjoy it. I try to make it a fun thing. But if you want to join my newsletter, you can get one of my short stories for free. Revenge Denied is up for sale on Amazon, but you can get it for free if you join my newsletter. It's a short story. It's a high fantasy short story about a young woman who wants to be a sorceress. So she apprentices herself to an established sorceress who also has 2 other apprentices, and finds out that becoming a sorceress, the process is a lot different and a lot more brutal than she anticipated. And so her challenge is to try to stay alive long enough to become an established sorceress and learn the craft. So that's Revenge Denied. It's a short story, real short read. And the URL is on the slide there. And just go to that slide and click the button. You'll be asked to join the email list. And once you join the email list, you'll get the short story. I have a science fiction short story called Planetary Sentinels, which has never been published. And I'm also offering that if you prefer science fiction and want to join my email list. Again, go to the URL that's presented there and click on the thing. You can, again, I offer the short stories in EPUB and PDF and Mobi formats, so you can get it in whichever format you prefer. And it's free for joining my newsletter. And Planetary Sentinels is a story about that I did for fun, and I hope you have fun with it too. But it's a speculation on why we haven't seemed to make contact with people from other worlds yet. And so I have a theory about how that might have happened, or more precisely, have not happened yet. So that is a story that I hope you will enjoy. I enjoyed writing it, and I had a lot of fun writing it, and I hope you'll have a lot of fun reading it. As I said earlier, I have a bunch of other books that are published that are not on sale, but I'll mention them in case you might be interested. You can browse my either my joanmarieverba.com site or the FTL publications site. I think I have sample chapters for most of them. If you look there, I have one called the Arachne Portal, which is a scientific team of women and one man who are trying to develop a portal which will take them anywhere and that they can use to rescue people in trouble, except that there's a unethical billionaire who wants it for himself. So that is their challenge, to keep this away from him and to keep this secret. So it's also a book about the scientific method. I have a bachelor's degree in physics, so I like to promote science, and the Arachne Portal does promote science and the scientific method and how scientists develop new technology. And you might find that interesting. And again, it's people from different backgrounds, different cultures, working together for a common goal. So go over to ftlpublications.com or joanmarieverba.com and read the first chapter of the Arachne Portal and see if that might appeal to you. There's another book that I want to mention that is a children's chapter book, and children's chapter books are generally for grades 1 through 3. It's about a second grader who goes to the animal shelter to find an animal and finds a dragon and takes the dragon home and adopts the dragon. And so the dragon and she have various sorts of adventures. And that is my children's chapter book. I mention this in particular because my current work in progress is a novel about dragons, and it's the same character grown up and just graduated from college, and her dragon companion and their adventures on the worlds that the dragons had come from. And so that is what I'm writing right now. And that's for, young adult, new adult, grown-up readers. And I'm hoping to have that completed in a year and made available. But that's what I'm working on. If you want to know my progress about that, I put my progress in my newsletter. Again, you can sign up for the newsletter and get one of my short stories for free. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you're not particularly interested in the short stories, there's a sign up form on the front page of joanmarieverba.com. So you can just sign up for the newsletter if you want to. That's perfectly fine. So that is what I have to say for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll turn it back to Terry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jo-Marie. And I'm gonna second what everybody's been saying in the comments about the cover of 12. That is amazing. But also Defying the Ghost sounds awesome, because I am a sucker for a can you spend the night in a haunted house story. So, because I'm always like, y'all are crazy. Why would you do that? But that is one of my favorite genres. All right, well, welcome. Thank you everyone who joined us today. That is our online book fair for today. And possibly this month. This is a new initiative from Strong Women, Strange Worlds. We haven't quite figured out a schedule yet, or even if there's interest in these events. So if you did attend today and enjoyed this, do let us know in the comments on that YouTube video. I did figure it out while other people were talking. On your phone and on a desktop, you only see the comment box if you're signed into YouTube. So even if you were on your phone and not in the app, you can comment. You just have to sign into YouTube. If you have never signed into YouTube or make an account, YouTube, I think, is owned by Google. So if you have a Gmail and you use your Gmail, you can log in pretty easily to YouTube to leave comments. So we possibly will be back next month. We'll see. If you're interested in these online book fairs and you're new to Strong Women, Strange Worlds, you can learn more about us at strongwomenstrangeworlds.weebly.com. I did put the link to our website in the YouTube comments. You will see an option to sign up for our mailing list there, so you can sign up to be notified when we do these events again, or you can follow our YouTube channel, and in theory, YouTube will notify you when we go live. We do have an online reading featuring 6 women and non-binary authors of science fiction, fantasy, and horror this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That event is free, but you must pre-register to get the Zoom link to that. You can do that at our website, that's strongwomenstrangeworlds.weebly.com. So the authors will be sticking around for a few more minutes, answer any questions about how to get any of their items that are on offer, or answer any general questions you might have. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I really hope you enjoyed today. Thanks, everyone.